Hey, 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 good morning, everybody. Carmina Mevs here. How you doing? Halfway through the week. And today I want to talk about something that could be a little controversial, maybe. I don't know. I want to talk about the three phases of commitment. Um, because I think unless we are aware of those phases, the potential for quitting too soon, um, just to just go up like exponentially. So I was thinking this morning. I was thinking back at the time when I was married and kind of, you know, aligning that with what I want to talk about today. Because in my experience, right, and I think in everybody's experience, there are really three phases to a marriage, just like commitment, right? So the first phase is what Art Williams is the author of a book that I read that kind of put that idea in my head. Art Williams said, like, the first stage of any commitment is the lying stage. And that's going to sound weird, and it's not meant to say that, you know, you are intentionally deceiving, somebody. It's the lying phase, meaning like your commitment has not really been tested yet. So you are in the honeymoon phase, and you just get married or you just meet someone. We don't even have to go all the way to the marriage thing, but when at the beginning, your enthusiasm carries you through, right? So, and I was the same way, and I was a newlywed. Things were rosy, right? Things were looking up. Oh my God, like this is it. This is like the person for me. It's going to last forever and ever. This is my happily ever after, right? Hey, Luann, good morning. Um, and so it is so easy during that phase to get carried away. And this is my problem with most diets, right? Or most exercise programs, or most any type of program where you're trying to change something. And at the beginning phase, you're overwhelmed with all the stuff that you have to do, all the stuff you have to do, right? And so you don't realize it, but because you are in that first phase of commitment, which is the lying phase, where you really, you're riding the wave of your enthusiasm at that time, and it's fairly easy to do. But here's what happened: people don't think about the next phase of commitment, which is the quitting phase. Now, the quitting phase is the tough one, right? I mean, obviously, you could always quit in the lying phase because sometimes you realize, you know what, this thing is just the juice is not worth the squeeze, so I'm just going to give up, right? Right there. But when you're in the quitting stage, like, you have been through the trenches, you have been doing the stuff, the hard stuff, right? And you're not seeing results yet. And because you're not seeing results, you know, the what's the word I'm looking for? The temptation to give up right then and there, goes up exponentially. And sometimes we could be in that quitting phase for a long time, right? So the quitting phase, again, just like the lying phase, is not doesn't mean that we necessarily quit during that time, but this is the time, that phase in your commitment level, where you really feel like, you know what, I'm wasting my time. This thing is not working. You're still doing it, but this is the thought process. Like, the enthusiasm has left you, like, because when you're enthusiastic, that gives you another oomph, right? So when you first started, you had this courage to get started. You had the enthusiasm to carry you through. You haven't not yet seen all the obstacles that are gonna come through. But when you're in a quitting stage, this is a second phase of a commitment. Like, yeah, you've seen the bad and the ugly, so you know what this is all about. Like, if you're doing a diet, let's say you're doing Atkins diet, This is the part where you're like, oh shoot, I can not have, I don't know, what can't you have on Atkins? Carbs? I cannot have bread for the foreseeable future. And that hits you hard, right? And I would guess for the guys, this is the time in their marriage we're like, oh, I guess I am off the market. This is real. Like, I have to do the dishes and I have to put up with somebody's bad moods. And, this is a period of really heavy adjustment where your illusions are gone and the reality sets in. This is what I signed up for, right? Because in the lying stage, when you are so enthusiastic, you've not still seen the whole gamut, right? So again, you're riding that wave of enthusiasm. And when you hit the quitting stage, this is probably the longest of the commitment phases. And you're like, ooh, I have to do this for the rest of my life? I don't know about that. And that's where I want to say the majority of people will quit. Okay. Now, in which phase do you think I am in my own commitment to that 40-pound journey? If you had to take a guess, I'll tell you, I am definitely in the lying stage because at this point, I am still riding the wave of enthusiasm, right? And what I'm being very cautious about in this phase, in this honeymoon phase, is not to overcommit. It's not to go at it hard, right? Because if the level of effort that I perceive that this is going to be, becomes too much, I am going to quit, right? So this is why it is so important that when you start something like a weight loss journey, a fitness journey, whether it's you're trying to save money, whatever is it that you're trying to do, it is so important that at the beginning that you gradually ease yourself into it, right? Like we were saying yesterday, small hinges swing big doors, right? So at the beginning, focus on like what are the micro commitment that I can make, right? And that I can stick to in the long run. Where my critter brain, whose sole job is to protect me, is to keep things going the same way they've been going, right? Your critter brain does not like change. So if you go at it too hard, right, and bam, you want to change, you want to start exercising 6 times a week, bam, you stop eating carbs and desserts and all those things, your critter brain is going to go on high alert and it's going to say, what the hell is going on? I do not want to do this. And it's going to resist with all its might. And the critter brain is at its best when you are in the second stage of commitment, which is the quitting stage. So I want to venture that 90% of dieters, of marriages, of people trying to save money, this is where the rubber meets the road, and this is where most people quit. Why? Because they went at it too hard at the beginning. Okay? Now, if you are part of the lucky few, you make it to the third stage of commitment, which is I'm doing it stage. And the funny thing about this stage is that oftentimes you don't even realize that you are in that stage. Because in that stage, you've made it a part of your life. Like, you've been with that person for X amount of years, and I salute you, all you couples who've made it through the quitting stage and are now in the stage where you're doing it. You're in it for the long haul, right? Like you know everything there is to know about the bad habits of the person you've married, and you've made your peace with it. You're like, you know what? This is what it is. He or she is a good person, but they're human and they have their flaws, and that's okay. And I'm willing to live with that. Those, 80% of it is good. The 20% that's not good, I'm willing to hunker down and make it through it. A lot of couples don't make it to that stage. I didn't make it to that stage, and that's okay. You know, it's part of life, it's part of growing up or whatever, right? But when you're in the doing it stage, you know, this is when your commitment has been tested. You know what it takes. You've been doing it, and it's not until you really started to see success for a good 2 months, 3 months that you're like, oh, wait a second, I am doing it, right? So I'm saying this to encourage you and to encourage myself, right? To recognize, hey, I might be in the lying or quitting or doing it stage, and that's okay. That's part of the process. You know, in the quitting stage, just because you don't feel the enthusiasm, this is not a sign that you are doing the wrong thing. It's just a sign that you're human. It's just a sign that you're growing into it, you're growing into the commitment, and there are a few things that you're learning along the way, right? And it's because you're going through those phases that you come out of it a different person, a better person, right? That's the difference between a person who inherits or win the lottery and somebody who had to work their way up to being a millionaire, right? The person who won the lottery, statistically, those people, currently in New York, well, I guess in the tri-state, I don't play lottery, but I know like somebody in North Carolina won like $1 billion or something like that last week, I think. And the sad reality is most lottery winners don't hold on to the money. They actually end up worse than they were before they won the money. So if you're feeling sad because you didn't win the Powerball, hopefully that makes you feel better. Not in a bad way, but that's just the reality of it. So anyway, 3 phases of commitment. Know that wherever you are, this is totally normal. Just give yourself some grace and some mercy and know that you're going to make it through. Okay? The only way out is through. So keep going. All right? So with that, I'm going to say goodbye. I have to go start my work day. I hope you have a great day and hope to catch you soon. Bye. Take care.